Nama dan pertanyaan.
Hi everyone, hello. My name is GEPI. Firstly, thank you for the knowledge sharing. Really appreciate it. My question is actually to Bari, but I also question all of you, like what do you think about it? Especially in Indonesia, piracy culture or piracy culture or plagiarism culture. I think we are really familiar with that culture. Actually, like people, especially in Indonesia, we love fake things. I mean, especially for consumer goods, we love fake branded things, or we usually call it KW because it's affordable, especially for women. I mean, yeah, we used to it. So, as a startup and a new company, how, especially the government, maybe in the future, how the government plan to tackle or handle this problem? Because actually people in the market love this, fake things. And sometimes as a company, maybe you can see, oh, I already popular because my product is already become a piracy by in the traditional market, so I already popular then. So even like as a company itself, from the perspective of the company, we can measure our successful from that piracy. So if that's so, then why do we have to go for register to it? So yeah, what do you think about it and how the government will handle that problem in the future? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. According to many literatures, and cause of the piracy is about price, it's about access to the works, and a public, like you say, public like fake product or piracy. They think that a pirate, they think a copyright pirate is a Robin Hood because they can give you many things affecting piracy software and anything. So it is a challenge for us, for government, how to handle the piracy in accordance to the three causes of the piracy. Number one, government should enforce the law very strict and consistent. There is no tolerance for the piracy for the government, because once you allow the piracy, and then anyone can do the same. So you have to strictly enforce the law to the piracy. But you have to know that in Indonesia, if we talk about piracy in accordance to the copyright piracy, in copyrights it cannot be considered as a crime if there is no complaint from the creator. If the creator allow you to copy, to distribute, then that's okay. But if the creator making a complaint to the police, that will be a crime. When it will be a crime, and the government will enforce very strict and consistent. And number two, the government will do making a public education, because public should not consider a piracy like a Robin Hood. Crime is a crime if the creator complain about it. If not complain, it's okay. And number three, where government, especially Badan Ekonomi Kreatif, will endorse or will create a new business model to make a product will be more easy to access the original product, the original works, easy to access and not cheap. Because if we enforce very strict to the privacy without alternative or without solution, it will nothing. So we will endorse or we will create a new business model to handle the problem.
Oke. Ada pertanyaan lagi? Ya, yang itu dulu.
Thank you. My name is Jessica from the Production House. I want to ask the copyright or royalty in the production house cinematography industry, specifically in TV show. So in Indonesia, when should we register our show? Is it from the concept or when it's already done? Because we are developing our social reality shows and we want to protect the concept. And when do the best time for we to register? And then how about like Indonesia's Got Talent and Indonesia Mencari Bakat? There's one show duplicating the other and run the first one is Indonesia Mencari Bakat, which is the one who hijacked the idea. What can be close to what can be the producers or the owner of the shows do to claim? Is it also can get framers or the potential loss of the editorial? Ya, apakah bisa meminta ganti atas kerugian? Karena kalau sudah diduluin rerunnya untuk show-nya itu kan kalah rating ya. So it goes first and then they got the rating, the editorial potential. There's a second and the third belong to Kyle. If we want to go internationally, go to US, do we have to register our show there too? Do USA government has the convention with the Indonesian government about the cinematography products? And then how about the royalty? If we so we give the license, for instance, like for 2 years, and after that they rerun the show. Do we get the royalty? Okay, thank you.
Nah, ini sangat benar-benar spesifik banget. Jadi begini, TV program, sinetron atau reality show itu punya banyak komponen IP. There's a lot of IP komponen. Seperti naskah. Naskah itu bisa dilindungi hak cipta, skrip, bisa copyright. Kemudian nama dari reality show-nya itu bisa dilindungi sebagai trademark. Kemudian lagu yang latar belakangi dari acara tersebut bisa dilindungi sebagai copyright. Jadi kalau pertanyaannya apa yang saya daftarkan, tentu tergantung, depends on your type of IP right. Apakah scriptnya, apakah nama reality show-nya, atau apakah background lagunya, seperti itu. Atau mungkin punya figur-figur yang bisa dijadikan seperti boneka atau patung di situ yang juga bisa dilindungi sebagai hak cipta, copyright. Jadi harus diidentifikasi dulu satu persatu. Baru nanti kita bisa, ketika ada orang, baru pertanyaan masuk kedua, ketika ada orang menggunakan hal yang sama, terus kita klaim, Anda menggunakan hal yang sama, apa yang sama? apakah namanya sebagai merek, apakah skripnya, cerita di dalamnya sama, apakah lagu latarnya sama, atau apakah figur-figur yang diciptakan sebagai background di situ sama. Harus jelas dulu. Dengan begitu ketika kita mengklaim itu kita bisa punya dasar. Nama Anda sama atau mirip, karena dalam merek ada persamaan pada pokoknya, bisa diklaim. Nggak harus sama persis, tapi kalau sama pada pokoknya bisa diklaim. Iya. Dan kalau mau ke Amerika, misalnya, itu berlaku seperti itu juga. Nama misalnya Indonesian Idol, itu udah ada di sana American Idol, jadi udah nggak mungkin lagi kita pakai Idol. Itu udah sangat Amerika sekali gitu. Jadi nggak mungkin lagi. Tapi bisa didaftarkan dengan nama yang lain, mungkin seperti itu. Skripnya itu sudah karena hak cipta. Kalau misalnya ada perjanjian antara Indonesia dengan Amerika, dan saya tahu banget ada konvensi internasional maupun bilateral ada, maka dilindungi juga, termasuk lagu latarnya mungkin itu dilindungi juga. Tapi yang paling penting tadi bahwa merek atau nama dari program siaran tersebut jelas harus didaftarkan sebagai penanda atau brand dari seluruh siaran program tersebut. Dan pertanyaan royalti, kalau kita memberikan lisensi di luar negeri segala macam itu sama. Jadi ada asosiasi sebenarnya mereka yang sudah memutuskan atau menetapkan royalti itu atas suatu produk tertentu. Lisensi software misalnya ada yang sampai 10-25%. Program TV ada sampai 10-30%. Seperti itu. Jadi sudah ada aturan ditetapkan oleh asosiasi di negara masing-masing. Jadi kita tinggal datang ke negara itu, tanya asosiasi ini di mana? Karena biasanya mereka menetapkan standar royalti untuk industri mereka. Terima kasih.
I think he answered your question. That was directed towards me as well. I mean, building a TV show, there's different phases of what you're actually trying to protect. And if you're talking from the highest level of the brand, and registering that in the United States, yes, I think if you have a TV show that has a clear brand, and you gave the examples of American Idol, whatever that is displays, royalties and collection anytime that a TV show is distributed anywhere, right? And it's through, if it is sold in, it's not DVDs anymore, but most of the time it's streamed through, whether it's programs or platforms like HBO Go or any TV or more or less TV platforms that exist today, which is most of it's being taken over in the US side. The cable networks and satellite networks are actually falling, so most of the time TV shows are distributed through these platforms, right? The royalties is collected every time you are displaying the show. Every time there's a sale to someone in the US or someone's viewing your show, there's always going to be a collection on it. Why? Because you have a royalty. Keep in mind, everybody in the US likes suing each other. We have a culture of suing one another because we have a consistent framework and a strong framework. So if you are going to register a TV show in the US and you have the IP protected there, it's not something you're going to have to worry about anybody duplicating it or taking away from you because people get sued all the time in the US, and if you win, you win a lot of money, and so nobody's going to take the risk of trying to copy you, and so that's not a worry. I hope that answers your question. Okay.
Yeah, my name is Julius from JCI. I just want to ask how much the cost of registering a trademark or brand, official cost and also the de facto or real cost. Thank you.
Harga lapangan berapa?
Tes. Tadi harga yang disebutkan itu sudah real, harga untuk pendaftaran di Ditjen Haki sesuai dengan peraturan yang tercantum di Ditjen Haki. Untuk melalui konsultan pastinya berbeda-beda ya, mendaftar di konsultan yang kantornya di Kuningan dengan kantornya cuma misal di Kemang pasti beda jauh. Tapi yang jelas kita hanya bisa memberikan harga yang pasti yang disebutkan di slide tadi. Misalnya trademark ya biaya per merek per kelasnya 1 juta misalnya seperti itu. Untuk konsultan sebenarnya ada penentuan tarif oleh asosiasi konsultan HAKI itu sebenarnya ada standarisasinya berapa, cuman pasti banyak yang memberikan yang lebih murah. Kalau di kami untuk merek sekedar gambaran untuk atas nama perorangan 2,5 juta, untuk atas nama perusahaan 3,5 juta. Kalau yang lainnya tidak ada lebih cepat, tidak ada lebih ini, tidak ada. Jadi semua proses itu dilakukan oleh Dirjen HAKI. Lebih cepat berbeda, mungkin pengurusan pendaftaran berbeda seminggu, 2 hari, 3 hari seperti. Cuma untuk semua proses pendaftaran di Dirjen HAKI. Kita sendiri juga pernah pengalaman, memang kadang klien itu sangat kecewa dengan konsultan karena lama gitu. Tapi memang konsultan di sini tidak bisa berbuat apa-apa karena semua keputusan di Dirjen HAKI. Jadi kalau tadi merek misalnya hanya saya sebutkan di peraturan memang hanya 14 bulan, tapi kenyataannya hampir semua yang kita daftarkan di atas 2 tahun. Dan itu memang benar-benar di tangan Dirjen HAKI. Kita secara legal kita tidak bisa melakukan apa-apa. Secara legal ya.
Dari hari pertama kita daftar, kita sudah mendapat perlindungan IP atau kita harus tunggu 2 tahun kemudian?
Perlindungan apa nih? Untuk merek?
Apapun yang kita daftarkan,
ya.
trademark.
Merek itu perlindungannya terhitung dari mulai pertama kali kita daftar. Apabila merek tersebut di-approve, tentu saja kalau di-approve ya, itu akan dihitung dari pertama kali kita daftar. Ya, kalau ditolak sebenarnya ada tahapan bahwa untuk memperbaiki, oh ini ada yang salah di sini. Cuma pada kenyataan untuk memperbaiki pun sama aja kita akan disuruh kayak mendaftar dari ulang lagi gitu. Bisa dibilang ya sama aja kita daftar dari ulang lagi. Gitu. Makanya sebenarnya peran pentingnya konsultan di situ untuk mengurangi kesalahan. Kita udah daftar 2 tahun ternyata ditolaknya gara-gara salah gitu kan, rugi waktu banget. Gitu.
Okay. Kyle, correct me if I'm wrong, but in the US, I know there is a progressive patent, which is not as long as the regular patent to register. Is that true or not?
Yes, so there's a provisional patent. Yes. So basically, we advise startups that do want to protect their idea and very adamant in having a patent. The provisional patent allows you to basically, in a way, put on hold filing a patent. So it's like saying that I would like to patent this phone case, but I don't have the money nor the time to do it. So what I'm going to file is a provisional patent, which more or less gives me the right, but puts it on hold that I can, or as of right now, this is theoretically patented, but not officially. So after 2 years, it's the technology anyone can do. But after, let's say, 2 or 3 years times, I do now have the money and the time to put together and actually file a real patent. That's what the provisional patent was built for. So it's kind of like a buffer period to allow you to say, hey, I want to patent this, but I really don't have the money now to do it, I have time or effort to be able to do it. And so I have the provisional patent, I'm going to build up my product, I don't have to focus on dealing with too many existential threats. I am still protected as a real patent, but then when the time comes when I need to end of the year's provisional patent, I need to file the patent. It's a good way to say, I have a product that I think is going to work, but I don't want to spend all the money on it and then find out that it's not really a good business model. And so it also acts as a buffer to say, after that 2-year period, if the business model doesn't work around, the patent itself, then I could just drop the provisional patent, not have to file patents and move on to a different type of business or business model. So yes. to answer your question.
Sure. Pak Ali, apa kita punya pilihan yang sama seperti di US bahwa kita punya professional patent seperti itu yang lebih mudah untuk di-apply dan lebih murah? Atau semuanya sama aja, ada paten biasa, paten sederhana itu apa gitu?
Di Indonesia ada namanya paten sederhana yang pendaftarannya juga lebih mudah dibandingkan dengan paten biasa. Paten biasa tadi sudah dijelaskan jangka waktunya perlindungannya 20 tahun, sedangkan paten sederhana hanya 10 tahun. Kenapa bisa berbeda seperti itu? Karena paten sederhana biasanya ditujukan untuk alat-alat yang memang sederhana. Seperti contohnya gunting. Gunting itu dulu paten, tapi sekarang sudah jadi public domain. Peniti itu paten dulu, di mana orang bisa melengkungkan kawat jadi peniti seperti itu paten. Nah, itu paten sederhana. Bedanya apa? Kalau paten biasa, dia ada 3 syaratnya, yaitu pertama novelty, kebaruan, kedua punya langkah inventif, jadi nggak tiba-tiba laptop jadi, SIM salabim jadi, nggak bisa dipatenkan. Harus ada caranya bagaimana membuat dari mulai menata segala macam. Itu namanya langkah inventif. Dan yang ketiga bisa diterapkan dalam industri. Jadi kalau misalnya ada orang mengajukan saya menciptakan mesin waktu. Mesin waktu orang ngawang, ini apa? Bisa diterapkan nggak? Nggak bisa, karena nggak jelas teorinya gimana. Sama kayak saya menciptakan mesin yang selalu hidup, tidak mati-mati. Nggak mungkin mesin hidup terus, karena pasti ada baterainya atau ada tenaganya yang akan bisa berakhir. Seperti itu. Jadi ada 3 kalau untuk paten biasa. Sedangkan paten sederhana, dia tidak perlu langkah inventif, cukup baru dan bisa diterapkan dalam industri. Seperti contohnya gunting. Gunting hanya memadukan 2 bilah logam yang tajam, yang ininya tajam. Udah selesai. Itulah paten sederhana. Peniti hanya melengkungkan kawat, selesai. Jadi zaman dulu tuh gunting dan peniti itu baru dan diterapkan dalam industri. Dia tidak perlu langkah inventif seperti halnya bikin laptop, ada harus IC-nya, integrated circuit-nya disatukan, dibuat rangkanya, disolder, ada listriknya segala macam, tidak perlu. Jadi cukup sederhana. Oleh karena itu di Indonesia namanya paten biasa, paten sederhana yang untuk yang mudah tadi, dan paten biasa yang mengikuti prosedur yang memang lebih rumit.
Ada pertanyaan lagi? Silakan.
Okay, thank you. My name is Ali. I would like to ask about the software itself, because my business will be kind of like software. I can go for instance, like a Gojek. For instance, if I make a Gojek, right, and then I make some patent of it. So if I make a patent, if somebody can copy for it, for instance, the business model itself. If somebody wants to copy, okay, just make like a software like that, like a Gojek. So if I already patent it, can I sue that person? Second of all, about the branding or trademark. If I want to apply, right, and for my trademark, if there is some change in the future, so should I register again for that changing or change my patent or trademark? Sorry, thank you.
Jadi untuk merek di Indonesia ini harus didaftarkan setiap ada perubahan. Bahkan dengan logo yang berbeda pun didaftarkan sendiri-sendiri gitu. Misal seperti Gojek, logo ojeknya itu berada di atas tulisan Gojek, itu nanti bisa didaftarkan sendiri. Kemudian dengan logo yang tukang ojeknya di samping tulisan Gojek, itu bisa didaftarkan sendiri. Jadi setiap kali ada perubahan itu didaftarkan. Dan untuk merek, sesuatu yang sama itu diperhitungkan juga oleh ininya, pemiliknya gitu. Berbeda dengan desain industri atau paten. Jadi kalau misalnya desain industri, paten yang baru Anda membuat ciptaan baru oleh Anda sendiri, itu akan dihitung menjadi ciptaan lagi gitu. Tapi kalau dalam merek, nama yang sama, kalau diajukan oleh orang yang sama, masih bisa juga di approve, misalnya seperti itu oleh Dirjen Hakil. Dengan nama yang sama dengan logo yang berbeda ya pastinya, seperti itu. Kurang lebih seperti itu.
Is that answering your question? Software.
Okay. Like I told before that software in Indonesia only protected as a copyright. You cannot protect it as a patent. But in United States and in another country, maybe you can protect it as a patent. And about the business model, basically business model. What kind of business model? If the business model is in the form of a book or guidance or journal, then anyone cannot be copied a journal, a guidance book or anything, because you have a copyright on the journal. So I think it depends on what the form of business model. If the business model in the form of book or CD, and then you can protect as the form of the business model, because you have to know that intellectual property cannot protect idea, but it only can protect the impression of idea, the form of idea. If you have an idea, I want to make a laptop. When you say, you just have an idea, but when you create a laptop, then the laptop will be protected as with the copyright, with the intellectual property. So you have to make sure what the form of the business model, in the form of what the business model. Because anyone can do a project, anyone can do Facebook, making something like Facebook, something like Google, anyone can do. But you have protection when you have a trademark. You can make a website with the name of Google. You cannot, but you can maybe like Badu or anything with the other name. And the software, when someone making something that functional is something like your software, you have to make sure that first someone have access to your works. Maybe ex-employee, your ex-employee or your ex-friend when you create or develop your software. So when they have access to your work, then you can say that someone maybe infringe your right. And number two, you have to prove that there is something substantive for the works, like maybe code, program, very specific that it is same like your works or software. So when you have when you can prove there is access to your works, and then there is a substantial something that really is same with your works, then yes, you can sue or you can claim other person that they infringe your goods.
So it means that we have to prove that, for instance, the source code is same, right? So if there is not same, even though the functionality is same, so cannot sue for that.
So I'm sorry guys, but I have to finalize my last question for the three panelists here. If there is any, can you mention one key issue in Indonesia intellectual property rights system? Bang Ari? The most important one.
Yeah, I think if I've told you in my presentation that you have to know about IP management, simple IP management. You have to know about your product, what kind of type of the intellectual property, and then you have to register what the IP that you have, and then don't forget to monetize your IP, because if you don't have a plan or you do not have a business plan to monetize your IP, then your IP will be nothing. So you have to know, you have to register, and you have to monetize. There will be a part of your business plan about the IP.
Okay, what about you, Pak? Do you know the issue in IPR system in Indonesia?
I think it was mentioned a couple times during the questions, and in one of my answers I talked about as an investor, what we look for when investing in companies. We try to mitigate the risks, risk factors. And one of the big risks of building a startup that revolves around IP is being able to protect that. And from an investor standpoint, especially for Indonesia, if there is times where it's very difficult to protect your idea, and it could become even more protected, I think it makes it a little bit more difficult to rely on the patents themselves or any of the protection that exists. That doesn't necessarily mean that you shouldn't file for any type of protection, and you should understand how to take action against that. And I think that's also what these guys are here for, is they can help you with that. Thank you very much. It's just one of the many factors that we take at the end as a high-level consideration when making an investment decision. We try to stray away from relying too much on patents or any trademarks or copyrights. And if it's a business model that relies too much on patents, copyrights, or trademarks, we tend to avoid it, as it can be very risky. But at the same time, those who have a very solid trademark, patent, or copyright that can can be very beneficial to start. So it's a little bit of a gray area of how you look at it. It really depends on the industry, the product, but just focus on the business and the business model, how you differentiate yourself. That's all. That's all I say.
Yang saya lihat masih kesadaran tentang intellectual property di Indonesia masih sangat kurang. Jadi yang pertama harus dipegang itu adalah bahwa intellectual property itu adalah duit. Kamu bisa menciptakan duit sebanyak-banyaknya dari intellectual property. Bisa dibilang sekarang investasi apartemen naik 30% per tahun, investasi tanah 100% per tahun. Tapi kalau kamu investasi intellectual property itu tidak ternilai harganya, tergantung dari teman-teman bisa memanfaatkan itu. Jadi pertama kita harus pegang bahwa intellectual property itu adalah investasi yang sangat amat lebih dari yang lainnya gitu. Dari situ nanti entah prosedur yang ribet, entah yang mahal, entah apa itu nanti pasti kalah lah, bisa bilang ya no problem lah untuk yang lainnya gitu. Yang jelas kita harus sadar dulu di Indonesia bahwa intellectual property itu investasi yang sangat berharga.